Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you are new here, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content, and if you are back, welcome back. Today I'm here to join you for my weekly WIP and Chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress and Chat stands for Chat, so feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me. My apologies that this one is late this week. I put up a post over on the community tab on my channel just letting you guys know that I have been feeling kind of under the weather lately, unfortunately, and I just did not have the energy to film over the weekend. And then Adam and I also had some plans on a date night on Saturday night that I'll tell you more about later. But and then I woke up this morning, Monday morning, with zero voice. So I'm thankful that I have my voice back a bit. And so I thought, well, let me give this a try. It might be a little bit shorter than usual. Maybe it won't. I don't really know. We're just going to get started. I have my water. I'm going to take it really easy. It's just going to be really laid back. But I really like these weekly catch-ups. So I thought, I'm going to try. So excuse me while I yawn. I'm completely wiped out, you guys. I did test for you know what earlier today, and it's not, that was negative, but I just am really wiped out, but I'm having a really hard time sleeping, which is just not like a fun combination. But anyway, I'm going to be working on a diamond painting today. I actually just started a new project that I'm really excited about. I have the sticker here. And I'll try to do this. Someone had requested it, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. To show you guys the picture that I'm going to be working on. So this is Beauty and Chaos. This is actually from Made. I just unboxed this on my channel over the weekend. The artist is Tally Sketch, and there was just something about this artwork that I was entirely enamored with it when I unboxed it, and I was actually surprised at how immediately drawn to it I was when I unboxed it. So I decided to kit it up and start it right away because I just take a shot every time I yawn. No, don't do that. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought, a little bit of brain fog. I knew that I would like it, but I didn't realize that I was really going to want to do it right away. Oh, I was saying that I just finished up my last project, which I kitted up with you guys last week, and that was my mystery kit from Jada Gem Shop. And I just posted the finish of that on Instagram earlier today. If you haven't seen it, you can go and take a look, and you don't have to worry about the fact that it's a mystery and having anything spoiled for you, because that's not how Jada Gem Shop's mystery kits work. They're completely personalized and like customized to like what you request. And so chances are really, 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 really good that that would not be the kit you ended up with unless you specifically requested it or something like that. So anyway, but that's the image I'm working on. We're over on the right hand side. So I started in this corner, and we're working our way up. So there's not a whole lot going on in the section we're going to be working on today, but I'm loving it so far. Made square drills are really top notch. This is my first time doing a square drill kit from Made, and as I started working them, I was like, these are really fantastic quality, and square drills can be a little dicey. So I think I'm gonna drink a water since I keep yawning, and I feel like that's not going to be a terribly enjoyable whip and chat for you guys. By the way, if you're noticing the slightly subtle difference in my setup up here, or for this whip and chat, I'm filming upstairs, and I'm actually in bed right now. Very comfortable actually, but Adam is gaming with a friend downstairs, and so I was like, oh, I do this sometimes. If you've been around a little while, you've probably seen it, but yeah, if Adam is like gaming and stuff downstairs and they're, you know, chatty and stuff, it can be kind of a distraction. So I'm like, I'll just set up and film upstairs. But yeah, hopefully you guys will still be able to see what's going on. Anyway, let me show you what I'm going to be using tonight. So some stuff from the small shop haul that I did most recently. This is a pen from Chroma Pens, my new pen. And I just popped one of my thin metal multi-placers in there. And I always link to these in the description box of my WIP and Chat. So if you're curious to see where I get them, I just get them from AliExpress. And then I'm going to be using this minder. Was a gift from Alyssa. A little bit of just supernatural fandom happening here. And then these trays are from Cat Proof Trays. You don't know how hard it's been to not use these, because I thought I really want, a lot of times when I try new products and stuff like that, I really like to do it live so you guys get a really authentic experience, I suppose, where you're actually seeing me experience like what it is to work with a new product and any hiccups I run into or things I find that I really like. So these have been just sitting waiting for me to do a WIP and Chat. I couldn't use them in last week's WIP and Chat because I was kitting up a painting and I wasn't, yeah. So anyway, they're both from Cat Proof. I think I'm going to start out with this one because this kit has a lot of multi-placing and this one's a little bit bigger than this one. And I thought, oh, this is a nice little caddy to hold my stuff. Both of these are from, hold up. Okay, this is from Excuse Me Designs. This putty I'm going to be using is in the scent Banana Pudding. This is my multi-placer. I'm looking at this one. This is from, just for a second, I was like, do I remember? This isn't from Excuse Me Designs. They don't do like the same kind of deal. This is from Sensible by Design, and this is a wax. I've never tried Sensible by Design's wax. We're going to try this in my single placer today. So, I think I've tried Excuse Me Designs putty before, but it has been a while, like a good long while. So we're going to give that another try today. Actually, let me leave that there and let's load up our pens. So if I am needing to pull putty out of a caddy like this style, especially if I don't have any fake nails on today, but if I do, I'll just use the flat end of my tweezers to kind of like dig some out. I use the flat end of my tweezers for a lot of stuff, actually. But I'll just scoop some out. That's probably going to be too much. Let's see. And then I just roll it really thin, depending on like how big your multi-placer is. And then if I had nails on, I just use the flat end of the tweezers to kind of like shove it in the actual multi-placer itself. And it's so elegant. It's not elegant at all. There's probably like, I wonder if there is just generally a better way to get putty out of these caddies if I'm just completely doing it wrong. I feel like if I were using it in my single placer, I could attempt to just like stab. I don't know. I use putty in my multi-placer just as a rule. I should try making an exception sometimes and stretching myself a bit. But I tend to do putty in my multi-placer and some kind of wax in my single placer, or like a glue dot or something like that. So let's see. This one I have the feeling I might need to scrape. Let's try just stabbing. I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to try. Oh, actually that worked. Okay. So I stabbed and then I rotated to kind of make a clean cut. I can't totally tell how well the camera is focusing right now. I apologize if that was all very blurry. I don't have the best like visibility for myself to be able to see what's going on, but anyway. Okay, let's open up this next section. Hi, by the way, how are you guys doing today? We're what, 8-9 minutes in, and I just now am asking to check in. How are you doing today? I hope that your week has been off to a lovely start so far, and I mean, mine has. Sorry, I just had a moment where I wanted to check and confirm, like, no, that didn't cut through, right? Nope, we're good. Some people get really nervous about that. I see this question asked often, like, what can I use to cut through my plastic cover that won't cut through my canvas? And I just, for a very long time, like years now, I use this. It's like, the name of it is called a ceramic pen cutter or something similar. Ceramic pen knife. I have never cut through a canvas with it, and I press pretty firmly, I think. Okay, so these trays do come with these lids, by the way, that can just kind of grip onto there. They're more flexible. Yeah, that's pretty secure. I was cracking up because in their promotional like videos and stuff for these trays, like on Etsy and I think like on their Instagram and stuff, they literally show these, like they're just like chucking them and watching them tumble to demonstrate how the lid doesn't come off. But anyway, we're gonna see. I love trying out new products and seeing like, ooh, how does this work for me? Let me pop our little minder on here. Put the magnet. There we go. We're good to go. All right, let me grab a color and let me shift this so that you can see a little bit of the tray. Here's my little lap desk that I'm working on. All right, let's grab this purple dot. So, by the way, here's the color spread on this particular kit. So it's so pretty. All those muted pastels, right up my alley. Ooh, and very loud as well, apparently. Yeah, so how are you guys doing today? Besides being a bit under the weather and low energy, I have been good. Adam and I, hold on a second, trying out a new thing. Let's analyze. This is very lightweight. It's not like super thick or heavy at all. Grab a pen. Those drills lined up nicely. I do like to test out my trays with both round and square diamonds because squares are actually just a little bit smaller than round diamonds are. And so sometimes even if squares line up really neatly and beautifully in a tray, sometimes rounds don't necessarily because they're just a little bit bigger. Okay, I don't have any washi tape with me, but if you're noticing that particularly your multi-placer is loose, like it wants to spin really easily, I guess that can happen with your single placer as well. I find it's more likely to happen with your multi-placer, especially a metal one. Just grab some washi tape and wrap it around the end. That'll give it a little bit more surface area. It won't spin as much. Anyway, I had a pretty good weekend. Adam and I went out on a date on Saturday evening. For his birthday this year, I had gotten him tickets to see The Batman in concert. It's the most recent Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. They were doing this live concert experience at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood, which is it's actually where they do the Oscars at. It's right next to like the Grauman's Chinese Theater, which I don't think it's Grauman's Chinese Theater anymore. I think it's TCL or something? I don't know. But it's right next to that. So we had to go into like downtown Hollywood. But the way that it was set up is that they actually, they had a giant movie screen where they were playing the movie, and then there was a whole live pit orchestra. Well, they weren't technically in a pit. They were like on the stage and the screen was behind them. And they were playing the score live. There were parts of the score that they played the pre-recorded like track from the movie. Okay, let me see if I can do this without making a mess. It's a corner spout. Okay. A little bit of a learning curve with that. I did lose a couple of diamonds, but that's okay. Anyway, so parts of the score, it just wasn't practical for them to sort of translate to like a live orchestra playing, but the majority of it was live, and it was very, 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 very cool. It was one of those like one night only type things, but I did tell Adam, I'm like, man, if they do more of these, I would love to do this again. And he really loved it. That was like his birthday gift and stuff. So I was thinking like a really epic movie like Inception or Interstellar or something with just a magical soundtrack would be amazing to see in that sort of setting with a live orchestra. It was really, really cool. I felt very lucky that we live close enough to LA where they do that kind of thing. Adam's parents came over and watched the kids so that Adam and I could go. That was I forgot how long that movie is though. It's like 3 hours, and they even did an intermission, which was funny because when they started and I saw like, oh, the conductor's standing, the orchestra's all set. I'm like, oh, once this movie starts, there's no potty breaks for for those guys. So I did have the thought that, man, that poor conductor has got to stand and be on for 3 hours. That's a long time. And then there was an intermission. So that was, I guess, that was well done. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was nice to get out for a date night because we haven't really done that in a while. And I am a fan of doing experiences for gifts over stuff for gifts. I do that with my kids and like with myself, and I know Adam appreciates that as well. So that wax has a nice pop. I don't know if you can really hear that at all, but it does have a nice pop. I enjoy it. I like the size of this tray as well. It's a big boy. This kit has a lot of color blocking, which I'm hoping means it's gonna move along pretty quickly. One of the reasons that I wasn't expecting to be so excited about this kit and be like, oh my gosh, I need to start it right. Ooh, don't go flying. That was almost really bad. I'm at a little bit of an angle here. One of the reasons I didn't expect to be just in love with this kit, enamored by it right away, was because it's on the bigger side. It's 60 by 80 centimeters. And it's a little funny because I had put together my D-stash spreadsheet to really try to pare down the number of kits that I have in my stash and that I have to have room for in my home. And I was pretty thorough this time and pretty brutal, where if the kit's over 50 by 70 centimeters, I mean, unless I was truly in love with the artwork, like it was one of my rainy day kits or something like that, I was like, no, it's going in the D-stash pile. And then I get this kit in, which is 60 by 80, and I'm thinking immediately, I just want to kit it up. It just looks so wonderful. So I was chatting with some friends, like, why am I weird? Like, why am I so fickle about this? And I realized, I think in part it's because this kit has a lot going on. And so each time I open up a section, there's something new. And that's really neat. And I get the satisfaction of seeing things revealed and completed pretty quickly because this is so chock full of detail. And I don't think I'll get bored because, like I said, there is something different in each section, something new to look forward to. So it also helps that this kit does have, like I said, a lot of color blocking. So I'm able to multi-place my way through a lot. But yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to be working on it. And I just really started putting diamonds down today. I kitted it up yesterday, but I didn't really start working on it till today because I just have been so low energy. But it's been going pretty quickly, which is fun. It's good because I tend to shy away from those larger kits because I'm an odd one here in that, yes, I am a speedy diamond painter, but I also, if I'm working on the same kit for much longer than a week, I tend to feel a little bit twitchy, and I feel like, but I want to finish, I want to move on to the next project. I'm flighty, I suppose. So that's part of it, is working on a kit that's much bigger than 50 by 70 centimeters is typically just going to be more of a commitment. And I know that I'm going to be feeling ready for the next project if I'm still working on that kit a week later. So we'll see. I don't know how long this one will take, but I am hoping that I'm just going to enjoy the process of working on it enough that I'm not going to be thinking too much about that. So it's funny how our tastes really do change over time. It's like, speaking of my D-stash, it was a little strange to realize that like there are some artists and styles that I feel that I've really moved on from. Like I listed most of my Randall Spangler kits in that D-stash, on this list that I've been working on compiling. And I was like, when I started, Randall Spangler was one of my very favorite artists, and I still think his artwork is great and it's really adorable. But there's a lot out there now that is a little more closely suited to my tastes. And I don't know, I think I also maybe I burned out a little bit on Randall Spangler kits because I did a lot of them, maybe. And also I do think that just over time your tastes they just shift, they just change. Though admittedly I've never been a huge like landscape person, and that'll be an interesting day if that ever comes, where my tastes change so wildly that I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to do portraits or fantasy themed kits anymore. I think I just want to do some landscapes or some gnomes. No shade. If you like landscapes or gnomes, if you love it, I love it for you. It's not something that I personally reach for, that I enjoy working on. But I suppose it could change. Who knows? Excuse me. So sorry. I have been doing some reflecting, which I often do, because I mentioned in a couple of videos now that I had sort of celebrated my 3-year diamond painting versary, 3 years of diamond painting, as of April 1st. And that always sort of puts me in a pensive, reflective, introspective mood, more so than usual. So that's a regular state of mind for me. I'm very highly introspective. But anyway, I just was also sort of thrown back to that yet again, this past week, because I was just kind of over on my like personal social media pages, and there were some on this day Facebook memories that came up. It was like 3 years ago, and some things I had posted to my Facebook or Instagram stories, and it was of me diamond painting. It's some of the first like things I had posted on my personal social media about diamond painting, and it was a moment because I have, generally speaking, largely stepped back from my personal social media profiles. There was a lot that happened, especially like 2020, 2021, stuff like that I just found my personal social media to be a place that was not good for my mental health. I felt really highly like disillusioned, and kind of appalled at like some of the behavior and things I was seeing from people that I thought that I knew, and that I thought I was sort of on the same page as, I suppose. It was just a weird time, and I just thought I am not like I'm getting more negative than positive for my personal social media. I'm going to take a break and just sort of step back. The downside to that is that that's one of the main ways that a lot of our friends and family, how we stay in touch with them and they stay in touch with us, keeping up to date with like kids, especially kids, like the kids and stuff. So I've tried to post every so often pictures of the kids so people can see, how they're doing and whatnot. But yeah, I haven't felt like a really strong desire to go back to my personal social media that much. But I do open it mainly because that's how I interact with like groups, like Facebook groups related to diamond painting. And when I open up Facebook, if there's a memory or an on this day that I had posted, it'll pop up at the top of my feed. And seeing those posts about diamond painting was just, I don't know, it was a little surreal. I ended up resharing those stories to my personal page and just kind of like a little update and saying something along the lines of how weird, how wild it was to see these pictures on my personal feed 3 years later, having absolutely no idea what what that was the start of, how that was actually the beginning of like a really crazy and wonderful journey. And I mentioned on there just how, you know, I was thankful that it had turned into this really wonderful thing, like for me personally and for my family and that sort of thing. And I just posted something along the lines of, you know, I don't know that I've ever shared this on my personal socials before, but if you're into this craft or you're curious, here's my Instagram and my YouTube. And I think there were some people that were like, you have a YouTube channel? And I had even said something in the comment or in the caption of that post along the lines of like, literally never did I ever think I would be one of those people. And by those people, I mean like someone that had a YouTube channel, a content creator, or as my husband and friends sometimes like to lovingly tease me and be like, you're an influencer. I'm like, I don't ever want the connotations that come with having the label of being an influencer. It always kind of made me feel some type of way. I thought it's not really the label that I care for myself. And I didn't want to put myself in that headspace anyway. I thought I just want to do this sort of because it brings me joy and as a creative outlet. And that's really how it started, is that I had posted some of these like time-lapse style videos on my personal feed, on my personal socials. And as I was kind of poking around and searching for like, I hear one of my cats like rustling around next to me. I'm like, come up and say hello. I started poking around and realized that there was an Instagram community that was specifically like for diamond painting and other crafters too. But I thought as I discovered the craft, I thought I would just happily like post about this all the time. But I felt weird turning my personal pages into that. And so it was a combination of things. It was a combination of, I don't know that my friends and family like care to see this suddenly take over my feed. And also, if I'm going to start expanding into this new online community, I don't really want them to have direct access to my personal profile anyway, because what are you doing? Hey, get out of there. What are you doing? I don't know, whatever. If you're wrestling, he's under the Skip, I'm sure, is under the bed, just doing whatever he does. What was I saying? Oh, so for the sake of my kids' privacy, I thought, let me just create an account, an Instagram account that's dedicated specifically to diamond painting. Also, I like compartmentalizing a lot. I like to have things into sort of neat little compartments. Everything in its own sort of space. So I created an Instagram profile for diamond painting, and I remember debating at the time, like, what do I want to call it? I don't even remember how I decided. I don't think that I don't have to say I don't think. I know that at the time I wasn't thinking about having a YouTube channel or having some sort of brand or something, or worrying that much about like, I want people to know me by this name. I'm gonna be really deliberate or something like that. I kind of just was like, well, the craft is diamond painting, so I'll go with diamonds. And then I really like pretty washi tape, so we'll just go with diamonds and washi. Keep it easy. And then it was sort of just a matter of like, okay, let's start searching these hashtags for people to find. And then as soon as the algorithm caught on to what I was looking for, then it was just, lots of people, lots of diamond painters. And I was really a crafter born of the pandemic. And I know a lot of people have really similar stories. It was one of those things where I saw an ad come across my Facebook where it was probably for some really terrible company like Paint with Diamonds or something. Who was that? I think I see a tab. I think there is. One second. But I think I just went, again, like probably a lot of us did, just went on to Amazon and typed in paint by diamond or diamond painting or something along those lines and tried to find something. And back then, the beginning of the pandemic was that's when Prime stopped actually getting stuff to you in 2 days for a long while. But anyway, as soon as I discovered it and placed those first diamonds, I was like, this is it. This is sort of exactly what I've been looking for. I'd tried other crafts like cross stitch and I think even paint by number. Hold on a second. There we go. You go right there. And other sorts of things. And it was, it was fine, but it just didn't totally scratch the itch for me. Diamond painting just did. It's because it is very easy. It's very mindless. And it also, like, you get finishes faster than you do with cross stitch. And I don't know, I like the accessories that go with diamond painting more, but talk about like a special interest that took off. And I'm really glad it's one of those special interests that I didn't get tired of, because most of the time I get really into a thing for a short amount of time and then I'm over it and move on to the next thing. And thankfully that just hasn't been the case with diamond painting at all. So I started that Instagram account so that I could have a space, because I think I was also craving connection with people, and we weren't seeing other people in real life at that point, at that stage. And so I think that was a time when a lot of these online communities really did take off. I think there was a huge boom with like everything from YouTube channels. I think lots of people discovered a lot of these kinds of crafts. And yeah, there's a lot of people that I still think of that I, quote, met towards the beginning of the pandemic through Instagram. That it's like they were active and around for maybe a year or so, and then they just kind of stopped posting. And I think about them sometimes. I'm like, I hope that they're doing well. I miss them. I understand that as life has sort of gotten back to normal, that means that people's schedules and everything change, of course. But, for me, I've incorporated it into just sort of my daily routine and rhythm. But yeah, so I have an Instagram account and was meeting a lot of people, many of whom are still very dear friends and that I'm so grateful for. And I was doing some shorter kinds of blurbs that were basically like videos. Like I would do stories, or I don't know if they had reels at the time, or just you would post a video that could be up to I don't know how many minutes long to your Instagram feed. And I found that I was kind of really enjoying that because I was getting really into this craft, and I'd see people asking questions for like help with how do I use the Gemslow app? How do I use this or that? And I thought, oh, like I love explaining this sort of thing and I'm really into it. So I was posting some videos on Instagram, and it still wasn't really like on my radar to potentially start a YouTube channel, though I had several friends at that point suggest it. They were like, you do these Instagram like shorter videos and you've got a voice that would work for YouTube, which I mean maybe they were just being nice, I don't know. But ultimately, like I decided to start a YouTube channel specifically because I wanted to be able to post like video reviews that could go longer than whatever Instagram's video limit was at the time. I don't remember how long that was. It 2 minutes? Was it? I don't know. So I thought I just need a different medium. I'm not looking to make this like a whole thing. I just think it's more efficient. I think it's more convenient, and there's just not a possible way for me to do what I want to do on Instagram. And then I kind of sort of dipped my toes into YouTube. And I was not one of those people that really got into YouTube in general. Like, I didn't even know what it meant to be subscribed to someone's channel. I didn't get any of sort of YouTube culture, etiquette, or whatnot. But I remember asking around, some friends, like, okay, so who are some diamond painting YouTubers I should watch? And of course, Rachel Ray, Miss Coffee, who was Mrs. Crochet and Coffee at the time, and like Tiny Worlds of Wonder. I feel like those are the big ones. And so I started out with watching their channels and kind of getting a sense for, okay, this is kind of what the vibe is. And then, I created my own channel, and I started with a WIP and Get to Know Me, which I still, to this day, I do go back and rewatch it sometimes, just as a fun little reminder of how I've changed and how I haven't changed, and hopefully like how I've grown. And this was really funny to me. Someone commented on that video like just like last week, maybe the week before, that video, which would have been in like August or September of 2020. Someone comments on the video, who's watching this in 2023? And that just really made me chuckle. I was really highly amused by that. I was like, that's so funny. It's coming up on 3 years ago since I started my YouTube channel, but I started with that, and then I think my second video was a post review of a kit I had done from Distracted by Diamonds and Gretel Lesky. And I was pretty sporadic about posting for a while. I wasn't setting out to like get lots of numbers or get, I don't know, notoriety or get free stuff from companies. 'Cause I know a lot of people do that. That's like their end game. I was just more thinking, I just want a medium that works better for this, and just to sort of dip my toes, like, again, stuck at home, going a little stir crazy, and just really craving something that was outside of my identity as a mom, because I do stay at home with my kids. I've got 2 kiddos with special needs, and it's been a blessing, and I feel really fortunate that we've been able to make it work for me to be able to stay home with them. But yeah, there always just sort of has been this question in my mind of what else would I do, especially once they're not little, and I have a little bit more time and margin. Of course, that looks a little different than I initially expected, because like I said, they do have some special needs that just mean some extra for me, which is completely fine, of course. So it's been really wonderful to have this that has been like I said, a creative outlet and a wonderful community, and like just a way for me to get to share my absolute love of this craft and impart some of my experience or knowledge or thoughts and opinions, which are always just my own. You can take or leave them, and share them. So I guess that was sort of the impromptu story of how I ended up having a YouTube channel. If you've been around, you've heard me share it before, I'm sure, but there's always new faces. So little recap. So yeah, that's that. I have pondered branching out further into something like, I don't know, I thought about different things like, oh, would it be fun to start like a Discord server for, you know, my channel and or like my Patreon or something like that, or both. I've thought about like would I enjoy branching into Twitch streaming. That would be really a lot harder for me to pull off, I think, just because with my kiddos it's really difficult for me to have a reliable and set schedule. But there's oftentimes in the middle of the day, and especially like in the mornings when I'm sitting and I'm getting some crafting done, and I just think, you know, it would be fun to have some company, some people to co-work with me. And I will often just be browsing Twitch to try to find streams to hop into, or YouTube lives, like either one. It's really fine. There don't seem to be a ton of people that are streaming, especially during that time of the day. Because I just like, I want to co-work. It's like body doubling over the internet, which is just this idea that like you get more done when you are working alongside someone else who's also working, even if you're not working on the same task. It's like just the idea of being in the same space and being productive at the same time without having to, you're not trying to be like social or stuff like that. I mean, not that you can't talk to each other, but just that concept is appealing to me. And I've thought, well, I see this thing that I would be interested in, which is having some company and listening to someone stream during the day hours, like morning and early afternoon while my kids are in school. And I've wondered, like, would I be interested in starting like a Twitch thing? But I don't know. And don't panic. Even if I did, it would not affect YouTube. Like, it wouldn't be that kind of thing. It would just sort of be something I do in this time that I'm not otherwise doing things related to having a channel. It's when I just want to sit and actually get some crafting done, like actually be diamond painting. But I don't know. Sometimes I want to watch a show. Sometimes I want to listen to an audiobook. Sometimes I want to watch a YouTube channel. And sometimes I would be fun to stream. Yeah, so I don't know. I do wonder sometimes, like, should I think about expanding further, or just, I don't know. I don't see that happening super soon, just because I do not want to overdo it. And I know how slippery a slope it can be towards burnout, and I'm not looking to end up in that situation at all. So, especially the next several months when I have events that I'm hosting and whatnot, I don't think it's a good time to add something new to the mix. But anyway, long rambles about having a channel and stuff like that. Ooh, I can hear my voice cracking. Let me grab some water really quick. Everyone take a water break, stretch break. All right. See if that helps a bit. So just some other general updates, life updates, stuff like that. I'll keep it brief because I don't really want to go into all of it right now, and I think I'm worried that, like, you guys are going to be I feel some type of way about it because I talked about it so much. Long story short, Adam's contract position was unexpectedly terminated last week, which is a huge bummer for many obvious reasons. So we are back to square one on the job hunting front for him. And yeah, to say that it's discouraging would be a little bit of an understatement, but I'm trying to focus on the positives, and I did and have been in sort of crisis management mode. Like, okay, let me focus on what can I control, hence my my mad rush to get my D-stash spreadsheet together and all of that. And trying to look at budget and go, okay, what can we do with this? But anyway, I don't want to harp on that because, like I said, I don't want it to come off in a way that I don't intend. I just wanted to mention that unfortunately that did not end up working out, and it had nothing to do with Adam and everything to do with just a certain lack of resources that was unexpected. there was someone higher up that was supposed to be Adam's report, who we reported to, that was going to get him onboarded, that ended up leaving unexpectedly. And then, I don't know, it's kind of what happens when you have a business that's got startup vibes. So I am choosing to try to remain optimistic and hope that this is ultimately going to open a door for something that is more reliable and full-time and a better fit. But yeah, any positivity you have to send our way would be very much appreciated. I do think that I'm coming to the end of the sort of gamut of time-sensitive stuff that I've had hanging over my head the past few weeks. The last big thing was really oops, let me just toss my pen. That we really down to the wire here, but it happened. All got submitted and taken care of today. I was delighted and relieved, like could have cried in relief to find out that we didn't owe anything this year. Because that just would have been a blow that would have felt like a lot on top of the job change situation. So grateful for that, and grateful that I think things have eased a little bit as far as, like I said, that sort of time crunch of, okay, now there's this time sensitive thing, and then there's this time sensitive thing, and then there's this time sensitive thing, that all these things need to be taken care of. So hopefully, knock on wood, fingers crossed. The kiddos are doing well. Mike has had to miss a couple of days of school. He's had to miss some speech therapy because he's just had a super, super runny nose. He's not good about, he can't really wipe it himself yet. He's actually been really good about letting us wipe it for him. But I haven't felt good about sending him to school like that. It's definitely one of those situations where I think, okay, if it's someone else's kiddo, would I as a parent be happy that my child was exposed to a classmate with these symptoms? And it's a resounding no. I'm hoping he can go back tomorrow, which is Tuesday. But yeah, like they even cut his speech therapy short on Thursday because they just said he's, unfortunately, like especially in this setting where we're like in a close small space and we're really like hands-on and stuff, it's just not like, he can't have this running of a nose. And I totally understand, and I apologized and said I absolutely don't want to put like anyone at risk. That wasn't at all my intention. It's also hard because sometimes when he wakes up in the morning, I don't necessarily know how runny his nose is going to be or how sick he's going to be, because I let him sleep as long as possible and wake him up basically with just enough time to get us ready and get us out the door, because Micah loves to sleep in. So I didn't necessarily know, like once I get him up and we're just sort of in the rush to get out the door, I don't know how much his nose is really going to be running, if that makes sense. So yeah, trying to make those judgment calls, be a responsible parent, and all of that. But we managed to really avoid being sick much at all in the first couple months of the year. We really lucked out given our track record in general. But yeah, because Mike didn't have to miss that much school at all earlier in the year. But Connor at least has stayed healthy. He's going through some adjustments, some growing pains of a sort with mainstreaming. About a month ago now, a little over a month ago, he finished transitioning into being fully mainstreamed in a general education classroom. And he's doing really, really well in a lot of ways, and the teacher and I are working with him to help adjust in other ways. So that's a big adjustment for a kiddo. So I'm hoping that as time goes on that he continues to feel settled and feel more just adjusted, and I hope he continues to make friends and whatnot. But yeah, there's just been a couple of things that have gone on that the teacher and I have had to sort of chat and say, okay, let's see what we can do about this. But they're great. I love those boys so much. They're so sweet and so silly, and they have my whole heart. They're so wonderful. Sometimes they do wear me out, but truly I'm just so grateful for them and all of their wonderful silliness and snuggles. They are both expert level cuddlers. And as far as I go, I'm, like I said, just kind of in practical mode, thinking, okay, what can I do to sort of help with all sort of the changes and things that are going on? How can I handle it in a practical way? I'm trying really hard to continue to take care of my mental health. I was in Shay's live, Crafting with Shay. She goes live on Sundays, and I really thoroughly enjoy her lives a lot. She's also just a really wonderful person, but she had Kimmy. I just had a moment where I was like, it was Kimmy, right? As a guest, and they were talking about mental health, and that was a good live to be in. I talked a lot about like self-care and finding people that you can lean on, and encouraging people to go to therapy and that sort of thing. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, and I not jokingly say that I feel like everyone should be in therapy, because I think that we all have baggage to work through. We all have challenges and struggles and things that it can be really helpful to get to talk with a professional about, and just how to navigate life. and oh man, that putty, I really got that in there. Shoot. Okay, let's use tweezers to try to pop that off. Oh, it's not all of it landed in the glue. Okay, it's coming right off. This Excuse Me Designs putty is a little bit softer, I'm finding. Just a little bit, but I do like it. Anyway, yeah, just having someone help you navigate life. Now, I know that's not a financially practical for everyone, but I think that if it is in your means, that can be a game changer. Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it was a good live, and I appreciated that there were, the gals, the hosts, were being so transparent, so vulnerable, and that people in chat were just very respectful and sharing as well. And it was good. It was good. I appreciate spaces like that are safe for that sort of thing. What else? We're coming up on the hour mark, and my voice is fading, so that's probably for the best. What else is going on? What am I watching? What am I reading? What am I listening to? So I've been watching. I started a show on Netflix called The Magicians. And how did I come across it? I saw like a crossover meme from another fandom, and I was intrigued. So I'm I don't know, 7 or 8 episodes into season 1. I don't know. We'll see if it's a show I stick with, but I'm enjoying it so far. And I've been listening to the Supernatural Then and Now podcast, which is a rewatch podcast that is hosted by a couple of my favorite guest actors on the show, and that's been fun to listen back to. They're finally coming up on one of my favorite seasons of the show, and so I'm looking forward to when they start getting to those episodes. And reading wise, I've kind of put a little pause still on audiobooks. I'm still in a little bit of a book coma, after finishing the second Crescent City book by Sarah J. Maas. I'm actually really itching to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like really, really badly wanting to reread them. In part because I got added to a couple of like meme groups, and like there's one that's like a recovery group. And people that are eagerly anticipating the next Crescent City book in at the beginning of next year. But yeah, there's been a lot of posting about like the A Court of Thorns and Roses specifically, and I'm like, oh man, I almost want to reread that, but I haven't read the author's Throne of Glass series yet, and so I think I should probably tackle that behemoth of a series before I do a reread. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe this week I'll be ready to jump back into audiobooks, but it's been a lot more in the way of like TV shows and podcasts and YouTube and streams when the timing works out if people are live. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap up this vlog because like I said, my voice, I feel it. I need to give it a break. I'm really glad though that I was able to hop on and do this WIP and Chat. I so very much look forward to these weekly WIP and Chats with you guys to catch up and share what's going on with me and hear what's going on with you. And I'm surprised it's turned into some of my most highly viewed videos consistently are my WIP and Chats. And so I'm glad. I'm glad that you guys enjoy just hanging out and catching up and stuff. And that's why I was like, I want to make sure if I can still try to get one in this week. So yay. Thanks for bearing with my hoarse voice and my rambles about having how I got started with diamond painting on Instagram and YouTube and stuff. And I guess I'd be curious to hear from you guys. How did you discover diamond painting? How did you come across the craft? And yeah, that would be a fun question to sort of include in the comments if you like. And if you made it all the way to the end, how about a cloud emoji, since we've got this cloud going on right here? Made some good progress in this section. Most of the rest of it is just color blocking. It's a lot of color blocking. It's these nice warm neutrals. Such a cozy scene. I'm in love. Now I do know that this kit is currently out of stock. I think it was the first one that sold out when she released like these new runs of kits. This one sold out really quickly, but it will be back. You can, I think, sign up for email notifications on her website. I will link to the listing for this particular diamond painting below. But yeah, she has said that as of yet, none of her kits, none of the artwork is limited edition. So you might have to wait, but it will be back. And I hope you're able to get your hands on this one. I'm incredibly happy with the quality on the diamonds and the kit. Okay, so thoughts on what I used that was new. So I do really like these trays. They're nice and big. A little bit of a learning curve pouring out of the side corner spout. Like I can't just like dump the same way, but it's not like a hard learning curve. I do really like this pen. I really like the wax. The wax again was from Sensible by Design. It was the wax, not the putty. And then the putty from Excuse Me Designs that I used in my multiplacer. It was a little soft, but it did the job. I just, every once in a while, I just would kind of go back through and sort of reset it. And kind of pull off some of the excess if there's excess. But yeah, no. Good stuff, you guys. I like trying out some new accessories with you. Now I'm going to go take like a nap or something because I'm wiped out. But like I said, I'm so glad I got to come on and catch up with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me for this WIP and Chat. Like I said, if you made it all the way to the end, why don't you leave a cloud emoji, some kind of cloud emoji. There's a cloud emoji, right? In the comments. And if you want, let me know how you discovered and started diamond painting. All right, my friends. If you made it all the way to the end, also, if you made it all the way to the end and you're not already subscribed, you'll probably like it here. So feel free to hit the subscribe button, and there's a bell you click to be notified when I share new videos. I will hopefully have some content for you guys this week, depending on how my voice does, so stay tuned. But anyway, I'm really going to let you go now. Have a wonderful week, my friends. I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.